When Turkish Airlines made the call to suspend all flights in April due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it put the brakes on a large part of the country's economy. Tourists, business travelers, students couldn't get in or out of Turkey. But after 2 months on the ground, the national carrier is flying again. It's the most encouraging sign yet that the tourism sector will be taking off again too. TRT World's Melinda Nusifora was on the first flight out of Istanbul Airport.
Thermal imaging, constant cleaning, spaced out seating and mandatory masks. Flying feels a little more cautious, a little less carefree.
Biraz endişeliyim açıkçası.
I'm a bit nervous. From what I hear on the news, the virus is very contagious. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Air travel connects us to the people and places beyond our reach. But now it's all about keeping our distance from staff and from each other.
I am happy that flights have restarted. I am keeping my social distance and protecting myself.
There are hand sanitizers everywhere, and there are signs and also people warning passengers about social distancing.
It's been 2 months since any flights have appeared on these boards. Like most global carriers, Turkish Airlines suspended its operations amid the COVID-19 emergency, and getting back in the air has its challenges. All carriers and airports need to pass government health checks before customers are allowed back.
We've designated 4 main principles that we won't compromise on. An obligation to everyone to wear a mask, full obedience of social distancing, individual and institutional hygiene measures, and the use of protective equipment for airport employees.
So far, about 60% of domestic flights have resumed, and more will be added in July and August.
All of our customers can rest assured. Our airport, terminals and flights are clean, hygienic and safe as their houses.
For so long, so many of us have chosen isolation and tried to avoid confined public spaces. So it does feel strange to be back on board a plane. But just like every other facet of our lives, there are now new normals when it comes to flying as well. You can't put your hand luggage in overhead lockers. When the flight attendants serve, it's only water. No food is given on short flights. And instead of headphones, you get a hygiene kit, including a face mask and antiseptic wipes. If space allows, seats will be left empty for social distancing, but it's not mandatory. And passengers flying in from overseas may face additional screening once they land.
We are establishing testing centers in the airports with the highest tourist traffic across the country. Those guests who haven't been tested in the last 72 hours will be tested at the airports.
It's a cautious relaunch, but a flying start for the country's economic recovery. Melinda Nusifora, Straight Talk.
And to discuss these new safety measures and what the future of aviation could be like, I'm joined by Kadri Samsunlu, who is the CEO of the IGA Istanbul Airport. Kadri, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. As Turkey's tourism industry slowly reopens, one crucial component is the resumption of domestic and the international flights. And the Turkish Airlines will be resuming its international flights as of June 10th. And more will be added shortly. Could you tell us about the safety measures that are in place to ensure passengers' safety both on the ground and on planes?
Thanks for having me in your program. Basically, this crisis is based on a health issue, and there's a significant fear factor attached into this crisis. Unlike many other financial crises, this time everybody feels themselves unsecure about moving in the city or out of or between cities. Therefore, to reduce the fear factor, we need to provide the passengers a lot of comfort and trust that the airports and airlines are safe places, safe vehicles to use for transportation. To do that, our government has been in a very proactive approach since the very beginning of the crisis. And recently they developed a certification program for us. I mean, airports, for airlines, for restaurants, for hotels. And the only purpose of this certification program, first of all, putting the guidelines for us to follow. Second, building the trust in airports and airlines, because consumers' perceptions of safety will be very, very important and instrumental in reviving the sector. What we have done at the airport and all other airports in Turkey, have done the same. First of all, you need to follow 3 basic principles. You need to wear the mask, keep your social distance, and keep the facility clean, and increase the frequency of your cleaning services all around the facility. What is important to revive the sector is, also the passengers must have conscious enough not to use the airports or the airlines when they feel bad, when they are coughing, when they have a sneeze. They should refrain themselves coming to the airport, because that's what we cannot control. Everybody must have self-control in securing safety.
So this virus, we know that it is transmitted through air or simply by taking a breath. Could you tell us about the infrastructure of the Istanbul airport and more hygiene measures in detail, please?
First of all, we don't know whether or not it is transmitted by air. We know it's mainly transmitted by droplets. Therefore, as I said, coughing or sneezing are very important features, that very important signs to avoid using these facilities. What we do is basically fresh air, 100% clean air is very important in fighting with the virus. Therefore, we have been exhausting 100% of dirty air from the terminal out and taking 100% fresh air through our systems into the terminal. By doing that, we stop the virus stick more in the airport.
So tell us about your plans of gradual resumption of international flights. Which parameters you take into consideration? For example, is there a cooperation mechanism between airports and airlines in case things go bad?
First of all, we are an infrastructure. Therefore, we are availing the facility for the use of the passengers and the airlines. Therefore, we are more supportive of the opening of the sector. What we do, we are in continuous contact with Turkish Airlines as well as several ministries in Turkey to accelerate the opening process and normalization of the sector and the tourism industry in the coming days.
Yeah.
But a domestic approach or domestic solutions are not enough. We need to work very closely with our counterparties all around the world. So who is going to agree to have a coordinated approach with Turkey to reopen their borders? We know for a fact that Turkey is very, very ready to open its borders for foreigners to come here for tourism, for business purpose. We need to have similar attitude, similar approaches on the other side of the table. At this moment, we know for a fact that the government and the relevant authorities inside the government are in continuous contact with the counterparties to reach an agreement for the opening.
So on the other hand, Istanbul Airport aims to serve about 90 million people per year and 200 million when reached full capacity. How far away you are from reaching that goal given the very negative effects of COVID-19?
It's a very good question. We started the year very good. The performance of the airport in January and February was good. We were targeting at least 8-9% growth in 2020. Of course, in the last 2.5 months, economic activity dropped to zero, and that will have some impact on our business plan going forward. We are expecting almost 50% business loss in 2019. For 2020, we are pretty optimistic that some kind of remedy to be provided to the human beings, either in the form of vaccine or medicine, or somehow the coronavirus is going to get mutated.
Hopefully.
And hoping it's going to happen. The pent-up demand is going to come back in 2021, and hopefully we will reach 2019 figures, 2019 levels.
Yes,
next year.
It seems like you're taking the necessary measures, but it's more up to the passengers. I'm afraid we're out of time. Kadri, thank you very much for joining us on Straight Talk.